Hey, what's going on, guys? Jason here, aka Tree Destroyer. And today I'll be showing you guys what it looks like when I throw my collection of Doomsday Discs. So let's see how it goes. Granted, it is a little bit windy out here and it looks like it might rain soon, so we'll try and hurry this up a little bit. Just take everything with a grain of salt because of the wind. Alright, first up we got the Rot. I know this is a favorite of Doomsday Disc throwers. It's essentially like an AVR, same kind of numbers, 2301, and I'll just get right into it. Threw it a bit low. Take two with the Rot here. Everything's flying a little bit more overstable today because you can see from the flag there, pretty straight right to left wind. Alright, next up we got some bucket lid style putters, as you can see from the shape here. Pretty boxy. This one's got a fairly narrow rim though, and I think this one is 2301.5, so should be fairly similar, maybe a little bit more overstable, maybe a touch less glide. As expected. This one is the Landmine. I actually used to push putt with these. As you can see, it's got a much thicker rim around the outside here. I would basically just grip it, a little bit fan grip, and then just have the pointer end up right there. Just like that. But for throwing, let's see how it works. Very nice. Consistent. All right, this one has quickly become one of my favorites. It is the Depth Charge, and it's got a kind of interesting looking plastic, and it's actually very flexible, as you can see here, very floppy. So when it hits the ground, little to no bounce or roll. Basically, I just do a little forehand, and wherever it hits, that's where it sits. I would definitely agree with that, because compared to the Rot, it had a very similar line, just not quite as far. Alright, so that was it for the putters. Now we're moving on to 4-speeds and up. This is the Crisis. Really cool stamp, I like it, and overstable, kind of like a harp kind of feel. 4303.5. Yeah, with the wind, that thing just, once it started turning, it was right into the dirt. Now up next, we have a very special disc. It is the Frag. It's kind of got like, almost like a foam feel to it, and it's just absolutely massive. And it's got a cool kind of marbly effect on it. But anyway, if you look up overstable in the dictionary, you will find the Frag. Flight numbers are 5205, and yeah, you heard that right. 2 glide, 5 fade. So I'm gonna whip this out there, and it's gonna go maybe 150 feet, it would be my guess, if I just throw it flat. So let's test that out. And up next, we have the Despair. Really interesting stamp. It is similar to a Buzz, so another 5-speed, 5.4 neg 1.1 for the flight numbers, and I'm usually able to get a pretty good distance out of it. Also, really interesting mold here, because it's got the white and the red flecks in the blue. Gave it a little height, held the line perfectly straight, teensy bit of fade at the very end. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, moving up to the drivers. We have the Ice Age. This was the special edition since it came with the ammunition box, I believe it was called. Really cool stamp. There you go. So very stable, nice overstable finish. The wind was part of that as well. And this is a new addition, very exciting for me because I like collecting unique discs, and this is definitely very unique. The Solar Death Ray with the ridges on the top of the disc there along where your thumb would go. There are no numbers quite yet, but if I was going to give them any, I would say probably an 8 for -0.5, 1.5, because it just goes on a pin straight line out of the hand and just a little bit of finish at the end. Unless you're really pumping this thing, you won't see a ton of turn out of it. Absolute beauty. That's in the shade of the trees down there. That's at least 300. Okay, next up we have a couple of my favorites. They are the same disc, just a couple of different weights. The Blackout. This is my go-to hyzer flip disc. And I think both the stamps on these are really cool. We have the true Blackout skull, and then we have the metal style with the disc golf basket on the top. I think that's awesome. I have a 167 and 169, so a little bit lightweight, but not totally out of the ordinary. All right. Oh, hold on. This one, the 169, I will put on a hyzer flip for you real quick. Nice. Definitely kind of kicked over from the wind. I didn't have a lot of spin coming out the hand, but still very nice shot. Very repeatable. Alrighty. Tiny bit of a scene change. We're just over here because there is a Little League game starting over on the other field, so I want to give them as much berth as possible. And now it's a little interesting because we still got a little bit of a left to right, if not tailwind, so that should be exciting for the distance drivers now. We have the Plague. This one was a misprint with the Pestilence stamp underneath it. This is kind of similar to how I throw the Destroyers here, except for it's a little bit more flexible. It's pretty domey as well. Definitely overstable finish though. Sick. Very straight line, and yeah, like I said, just that little bit of fade at the end and you're good to go. Super reliable disc. And without further ado here, the Famine. This is a new one for me. I have only thrown this like a total of 3 times. And one of them was into a tree. But anyway, it's kind of got a similar look to the Blackouts, where it's got the black interspersed in the plastic, which I think is just such a cool look. So that is the biohazard plastic, I believe. But what's interesting about this one is that it's also 12 speed, but it is a -2-1, so 12.5 -2-1. So with the tailwind, let's see how that goes for us. I definitely threw that one pretty light and just did not give it the juice required. It was also very high up in the air, so I'll be doing a second one of that. Now we have the Pestilence. This was the stamp underneath the Plague that I have. Understable 13 speed. 13.5 -4-1. So if you put a lot of muscle into it, it will go on roller on you. So this one almost needs the height that I had on the last shot. There you go. So if you give it enough height, it will still fade out, just very slowly, and it goes very far. Last one in the collection here, we have the Weapon of Max Distance. Not PDGA approved. Do not throw this in tournaments. And the reason why, look at that rim. That is insanely thick. So wide. 16 speed was Doomsday's take on that. So let me just pump one out there. I'm really going to put some good arm into this one for you guys. And that thing is over kind of near the fence there. So that thing is absolutely crushed. All right, we're gonna do one more take with the Famine just because I don't have a super comfortable grip yet. It's a fairly deep rim. I wonder if that contributes to the understability. It's also fairly flexible, as you can see here. But anyways, let us give it a little bit more of a rip this time. A lot more understable, a lot faster.
Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get any of these discs for yourself, just go to doomsdaydiscs.com and use code TreeDestroyer for 10% off of your order. They also have plenty of other discs that I just don't have yet, so maybe one day I'll have a part 2 with the rest of the lineup. We'll see if that happens. Subscribe if you want, and remember, go down throwing. Peace.